All right, well, there's another story that we're covering, and we'll get to the Navy more later. But in April, SandboxAQ, a startup using AI and quantum computing to solve some of the world's biggest cybersecurity challenges, announced that it's raised a fresh $150 million thanks to new investors like Google and NVIDIA. CEO Jack Hidary sat down with JD Durkin at this year's RSA conference to talk more about what his company offers. Let's take a look.
This new wave of AI. And this new wave of AI, JD, is really about taking AI into the real world and high impact world. And so that means that, for example, new pharmaceuticals, new therapeutics, right? We want to have new medicines for cancer, for Alzheimer's, for dementia, things that have stymied the biopharma industry for 40, 50 years. We can now start to attack with this new kind of AI. That AI, JD, is not large language models, not models trained on social media and cat pictures, as much as fun as those are, but this is new AI trained on the biology, the physics, the chemistry, the understanding of the engineering of the world around us. These large quantitative models, LQMs instead of LLMs, that's what's starting to have big impact. And it's great to see both the financial investors back us, but also these strategics as well.
I'm glad you mentioned the difference, and let me drill down on that a little bit more, because Jack, as you know as well as anyone, artificial intelligence, it's on the tip of everyone's tongues, especially here at this conference in San Francisco. So what should the average viewer who's watching this interview know about the key differences between traditional large language models, the chatbots we're all familiar with engaging with, and what you at SandboxAQ, what you're really pioneering and leading the way for LQMs?
Yeah, we're the global pace setter in these LQMs, JD, because the market is so large and the impact so big that we can have. In fact, 80% of the GDP of the world, 80% of the GDP of the United States, of the world, is focused on quantitative relationships. If you want a new drug, new diagnostic, you're going to need an LQM. If you want a new material to build a car in Detroit, and you want to lightweight that car so that it has more fuel efficiency, it's cheaper to make, then again, you need an LQM, something that is built and understands the engineering of that car. You don't want hallucinations when it comes to the operating room or the automotive factory. When we think about finance itself, New York Stock Exchange, think about all the financial institutions, the heart of finance is numbers, is equations. And so in portfolio management, in risk management, in portfolio optimization, all these areas require quantitative AI models, not so much language models, but quantitative models. So again, LLMs, great applications across the board. You can summarize documents in the context of public companies. We're talking about here at the NYSE. You can monitor for S1s, new filings of IPOs, 10Ks, 10Qs. Great work for LLMs. But the beating heart of Wall Street is ultimately financial calculations, is numbers, is equations. And so when we think about a Sharpe ratio of how much reward are we going to get per unit of risk, and we want to build a portfolio to that, that requires quantitative AI to make that work. So SandboxAQ, we're the global pace setters in this area because we want to have this deep impact at scale. That's our motto. That's our mission, JD. Deep impact at scale, meaning that we're going for global penetration, global presence, because our customers demand that. Right? Our customers are the largest banks in the world, largest pharma companies in the world, automakers and airline makers. These are the companies that we're helping with LQMs.
Jack, here at RSAC here in San Francisco, it's all about cybersecurity. These are critical systems that are so crucial to every imaginable institution. How do you see the LQMs that you are pioneering as a unique fit to the cybersecurity challenges of the moment? And there are a lot of those challenges.
Yeah, this is a very timely question. Timely because RSA is right now happening here in San Francisco, but also because the cyber threats have never been bigger in our world. AI is a wonderful, positive benefit to humanity, but also it's the dream tool of hackers. Hackers are using AI every day to do spear phishing. More and more notes getting into your email that seem very customized to you, JD, and say, hey, JD, click on this link, right? And you really want to click on that link because the letter is so custom to your needs and your ideas. In fact, they do ensnare a lot of people to click on that link and give up the credentials of their company. So it's more important than ever that we also have AI-driven cyber protection. And so that's what SandboxAQ just is announcing right now at this conference is a new product called Active Guard. ActiveGuard, AQ, T-I-V-E, Guard, ActiveGuard, you can see it at ActiveGuard.com, is a new brand, a new kind of cybersecurity protection, mainly for companies and ultimately for the individuals in those companies. And the goal is really to protect the data that we hold dear, the data in hospitals. Mount Sinai Hospital, an example of a customer there, the data in our large corporations to make sure that we can protect that intellectual property, that IP that is so critical to American innovation. So ActiveGuard just launching right now in GA, in general availability, already being tested by dozens and dozens of the best companies in the world for the past 3 years. We're finally now able to say, this is ready for scale, this is ready for the wide market now. So a very exciting moment for AI, both on the positive use side for humanity, for new drugs, new therapeutics, but also to protect us from the hackers using AI itself.